Welcome to today's lecture. My name is Fajobi Oluwatosin. I will be taking you through a quick tour on Study Section 1 with the course code AG201, Introduction to Agricultural Economics of the LAUTECH Open and Distance Learning for Agricultural Sciences, Option 300 Level Course Material, Study Section 1, Nature of Economies and Economic Problems. Introduction. Economics can be defined as a science that deals with production, exchange, and consumption of various commodities in economic systems. So it shows how scarce resources can be used to increase wealth and human welfare. So the central focus of economics is on scarcity of resources and choices among their alternative uses. The resources or inputs available to produce goods are limited or scarce. So this scarcity induces people to make choices among alternatives, and the knowledge of economics is used to compare the alternatives for choosing the best among them. So let's look at a case where a farmer wants to grow a paddy, sugarcane, banana, and cotton in his garden land. So he has to choose a crop to plant depending on the availability of the irrigation water. So at the end of this study section, you should be able to define economics. Secondly, you should be able to itemize the scope of economics. And lastly, you should be able to highlight all the methods of economics. Let's take this learning outcome one after the other. Economics is the study of how individuals and societies choose to use the scarce resources that nature and previous generations have provided. And the key words in the definition is choose. Also, economics is a behavioral or social sciences in a large measure. It is also the study of how people make choices. The choices that people make, when added up, translate into societal choices. Therefore, agricultural economics is the study of allocation, distribution, and utilization of resources used, along with the commodities produced by farmer. So, agricultural economics play a role in the economics of development for a continuous level of farm surplus in one of the wellsprings of technological and commercial growth. So, the question that often asks is, why do we study economics? Yes, we study economics because of the following reasons. Firstly, to learn a way of thinking, that is the opportunity cost. That is the best alternative that we forego when we make a decision, and sunk costs. That is the costs that cannot be avoided because they have already been incurred. Secondly, to understand our society. Also, we study economics to understand global affairs. And lastly, we study economics to be an informed citizen. The major factors that are responsible for the emergence of economic problems are the existence of unlimited human wants, and secondly, the scarcity of available resources. The numerous human wants are to be satisfied through the scarce resources available in nature. There are three basic questions facing all economic systems, and they are: what are the things to get produced? How is it produced, and who gets it? Therefore, we conclude that economics does not only cover the decision-making behavior of individuals, but also the macro variables of economics like national income, public finance, international trade, and so on. Scope of economics. Scope means province or field of study. Therefore, economics can be studied through the traditional approach or modern approach. Modern approach of economics includes microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics is the branch of economics that examines the functioning of individual industries and the behavior of individual decision-making units, that is, the firms and the household. So the price theory is also known as microeconomics, and it is concerned with the human behavior on individual consumers, producers, and resource owners. Therefore, microeconomics explains the production, allocation, consumption, and pricing of goods and services. Therefore, price theory have some limitation. So I will urge you to kindly read up the limitations in your study materials. Let's discuss macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is the branch of economics that examines the economic behavior of aggregates, that is the income, employment, output, and so on a national scale. So microeconomics is also known as income theory. Under traditional approach, economics is studied under 5 major divisions, which are consumption, production, exchange, distribution, and public finance. Consumption is the satisfaction of human wants through the use of goods and services, while production are the goods that satisfy human wants, which are being viewed as a bundles of utility. So production will mean creation of utility or producing or creating things to satisfy human wants. The next one is exchange. Exchange are goods that are produced not only for self-consumption but also for sales. They are sold to buyers in the market. And the next one is distribution. The production of any agricultural commodity requires 4 factors, which includes land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. These 4 factors of production are to be rewarded for the services rendered in the process of production. The last one is public finance. This studies how the government gets money and how it spends it. Thus, in public finance, we study about the public revenue and public expenditure. There are various diverse fields in economics. These include behavioral economics, international economics, econometrics, economic development, and economic history. Behavioral economics uses psychological theories relating to emotions and social context to help understand economic decision making and policy. And the second one is international economics, which studies trade flows among countries and international financial institutions. The next one is econometrics, which applies statistical techniques and data to economic problems in an effort to test hypotheses and theories. The fourth one is economic development, which focuses on the problems of low-income countries and their important concern includes population growth, provision for basic needs, and strategies for international trade. The last one is economic history. This one traces the development of the modern economy. So economics as a science adopts 2 methods, discovery of its laws and principles, which include the following. We have deductive method and inductive method. Deductive method here, we descend from the general to particular. That is, we start from a certain principles that are well self-evident or based on strict restrictions. Then we carry them down as a process of pure reasoning to the consequence that they implicitly contain. And the next one is inductive method. This method mounts up from a particular to general. That is, we begin with the observation of a particular fact, proceed with the help of reasoning founded on experience so as to formulate laws and theorems on the basis of observed fact. I hope you've learned one or two things from this video section. Join me for the next study section. Thank you.